Education is key to success. We haven't taught up each one have to teach one. Must bomb someone. We haven't taught us. Each one got to teach one. Let's learn from one another. Let's go.
Dumelang, welcome to Each One Teach One. Nna ke nna Pula Matsaung. Mekgwa ya tlwaelo, ho se bue, di-school initiation, ntho tsena tsa hore bashimane e tla phela e le bashimane, ke dintho tse re buang ka tsona kajeno. Dilemo tse tharo tse fetileng, one of the top boys schools sa mona Johannesburg se amuwe ke ntho tsena. Kajeno re kopana le Jason le ba lelapa la hae ba tsebang gore sexual abuse ke eng e ba yentseng, leeto la bona la pholo le gore nthwena e fetotse maphelo a bona jwang.
I'm Jason Daly, a survivor, victim, angry, betrayed, and broken. I could and am some of these things, but what I am is a truth teller, and the truth shall set you free. To live, to heal, to survive. I welcome you to my story. So when I was a child, I started to do a lot of work and always be around my family at times, and I love my family to bits. But besides that, it was just a very enjoyable life that I did do a lot of schoolwork, had a lot of friends and stuff at school. I went to Griffith Primary School. It was also a very good school. Unfortunately, I was very naughty at the school. But I did actually do fought with a lot of kids. Always got into fights. Also, did stupid things like grab rope on the field and mess around, and kids would always get stuck in them, and I actually got suspended once for it. It was actually pretty stupid.
As a youngster, Jason was most certainly the tougher of the three. If the boys got into tussles or wrestling and that kind of stuff, Jason would most likely be the one that they'd be afraid of. He would often take on both of them. You know, he was a tough little kid, and looked up to me quite a bit. Wanted to be like me when he was a kid. He, for some reason, wanted to have a big tummy like me, that kind of thing. You know, he thought that's what it was about. One time, he shaved his head with a razor in the bath because he wanted to have no hair like me.
Well, when I was in primary school, I really liked the fact of Parktown Boys because my older brother went there. He's a year older than me, and he went to Parktown in grade 8, and I just wanted to follow him. And basically, the whole school was it's obviously an all boys school, and I really was looking forward to it because I was always the tougher boy in the house, and I was always a lot more tougher than my two brothers, and it was just something I really looked forward to. And the sports, water polo and rugby and all that kind of stuff, I really wanted to do really well on that.
So yeah, we put him in Parktown Boys, and he battled initially. Every weekend we fetched him, he would be in a bad space, you know, crying and saying he didn't want to go back to hostel and that kind of stuff. But we were reassured at the time by the guy that was running the hostel that all of the boys go through this process, and his marks started to deteriorate almost immediately, but we were told that this is normally what happens. They come back and they build up and they break the kids down and they build them up to make them stronger and that kind of thing. So we wanted to follow through with the process that they said that we could expect.
My grade 8 year was actually really rubbish, to be honest. Black kids slept one side, the white kids slept one side, and a very racist group, our grade 8 group. We had about 17 grade 8s in grade 8, and they split, and basically at the end of the year 14 kids left. It was the most rubbish year for us because everyone left. It wasn't enjoyable. I did start doing sports at Parktown Boys. Started playing water polo. Rex was a water polo player in the first team. 2 weeks of him training with us, he would actually we would play no rules water polo just to strengthen up in the pool. So when you play water polo, you actually punch underwater, you scratch, people have grown nails on their toes and they scratch you, they hit you, you get punched in the face, you get drowned. It's all very hectic sport. But he actually started grabbing in our genitals. And it was very uncomfortable. He would put his hands in our pants and grab our pubic hairs, pull our genitals, and get very vicious all about it. And that's where it started. And we were very uncomfortable with it in the beginning. And he said, no, it's a sport. You can do anything underwater, you can hit. It's sore. And he did it fairly often, and I actually told my dad. My dad didn't take it too seriously. And then Rex actually started doing small things. So I don't know if you know, when you're playing water polo, if you get changed into your Speedo, put a towel over, you take off your jocks and you put on your Speedo. When you did that, he'd actually, while you take off our underwear, he'd actually take off our towel and run with our towel, and you'll be butt naked in front of everyone. He started with the small things like that, and after a while, he just got worse and worse and doing it more often. And he actually then got employed in the hostel as a hostel master, so he was a master that looked after kids. He actually got to the point where he was touching everyone, and he would squeeze your genitals and say, whistle. And if you can't whistle, he squeezes harder. And I don't know if you know this thing, when you go like this, you can't whistle. It's the same thing. You can't really whistle. And he enjoyed doing it. He would laugh about it. And it happened to everyone. It was weird. From that perspective, it moved on, and he started putting these genitals in kids' faces, touching kids in the pools, doing every small thing to turn him on, I'm assuming. But yeah, he built it for a long time. And no one ever complained because he was a matric 2 years ago, or however long ago it was. So it was always like, then again, go to silence. Then again, you have to respect everyone who's older than you. He's a master, you have to respect him. You could fight back with him, but don't say anything about it.
Let's learn from one another.
Kaofela re se utlwile ene ra se tseba story sa the Parktown Boys ha ya ama yena fela e amme le ba lelapa la hae empa ka hare ha mahlomola ao ho santsane hona le tshepo le tshepano ya ho batla go hlola sena.
So when I was 16 again, we went back onto the Durban camp. That Durban tour, a lot actually happened. Loads of kids got drowned on that tour. Loads of kids got wrestled with, strangled. It was all a big mission. In Durban that year, I clearly remember this one memory. There's 3 memories I clearly remember there, which was, first memory was he actually grabbed my legs and actually put it over his shoulders. I was sleeping or something, or lying on my bed, and he grabbed my legs and put it over his shoulders and actually lifted me up on my back, and he started jumping me in that sort of position. And it was very uncomfortable, but you couldn't do anything about it because you can't move off because he's holding you and you have no control. So that was very uncomfortable for me, and that's where everything started to go, no, this can't go anymore. That Durban tour was exactly where I went, it must stop now, it has to stop. And from there it went on and on and on.
But when they come back from that camp, the kids are transformed almost immediately. So the kids start calling, Brendan called me sir, Jason called me sir. You know, I thought, sure, this is amazing. My kids are changing, they're becoming young men, respectful people, and it appears. So when the teacher says to you, don't worry, this is what happens all the time. We break the kids down and we build them up and everything works out well, you know. So you trust them. You trust that they know what they're doing, and you don't think that there's anything wrong going on or anything that you wouldn't approve of. So, and the system is so well designed that when they go on this grade A camp, they're taught that they can't talk about what happens.
And then the worst thing that probably struck me completely was I went into the shower and then Rex came to shower next to me. He has his own showers, but he came to shower with us, which was very weird. Anyway, he came to shower with us, and as I started washing myself and stuff, he asked, "Can I shower with you?" And I was just like, "Yeah, it's fine, you can shower." It wasn't a huge matter at the time. And then he started slapping me in the shower. He started trying to grab my genitals. It was very uncomfortable, and I started washing my hair. And that's where I was like, no, I'm getting out. And I actually got out the shower. And I went to go get changed. And as I was getting changed again, he pulls off my towel. And I put on underwear, and he starts jumping me again. And that's where I drew the limit, and I said, I have to do something, and I don't know what to do. Anyways, it carried on for, I don't know how long exactly, but we went to play a match, water polo match in Pretoria. After that, basically got back from Pretoria, and my dad, I normally just wait outside, but everyone went to go chill in the hostel common room. And I saw Rex go in there with all the kids. And I never went in there, my dad just arrived or something, but I saw him go in there. And immediately, I knew he was going to do something there, and there's cameras there. So after the next week, so that was a Saturday, we played sport on Saturday, and I went back to school on Sunday for hostel, started my week again. And I think on Monday, the first training session, they said the first 10 caps are missing. And then actually one day, I went to Rex's room. He called me for something, and I saw their caps were there. So I went to the teachers that are in charge of the hostel at the time. So Mr. Anderson did leave, and then Mr. and Mrs. Bossett took control of hostel. And I went to them and I said, all I was aiming for was for Rex to get caught, because I really didn't want him to carry on what he's doing. And I said, listen, I've lost the water polo caps and I don't know where they are. But some kid said he left them in the common room. And from there, we started watching the polo caps, and they start fast forwarding. And I start noticing Rex is starting to jump kids. And then Mr. Bossett actually looks at it and he says, do you know what is he doing? I said, no, he does this all the time. And that's what I said to him, and he was started watching. I watched basically the whole video with him. In that video, kids were being jumped, kids' nipples were being touched. It was actually, by the looks of it, I don't know if it was, but he was jerking off while touching another kid's nipple. He was basically put a kid on the floor and put his genitals in his face. So yeah, there was, and as soon as you saw the camera, he actually dragged the kids out of the camera. And then basically I said to Mrs. Bossett actually said to me, you didn't come here for the caps, did you? And I tried to still try to stay innocent, and I just said, I came here for the caps. Because if you get told that you snitched about something, it's just a lot worse. And it got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave. And they said, no, we're calling the cops. And I was like, all I really actually wanted was for the guy maybe to get a warning or get him fired or something. I didn't want him to be around me anymore. But they called the police and he got arrested.
The former Parktown Boys high water polo coach has been found guilty on 144 charges of sexual assault, as well as 12 charges of common assaults. The 22-year-old was initially facing more than 300 charges, including rape, exposing minors to pornographic material relating to the sexual abuse of minors at the school. Colin Rex pleaded guilty to 144 of the charges.
I had from a point where I started realizing everything was bad, like very bad. I did have a lot of suicidal thoughts. I got very aggressive very quickly.
I certainly felt guilty about it as well. And not just that, but I even felt guilty about putting him in the school. I felt like it was me that put him here. I put him in danger and harm's way. It was very difficult for me to try and get over the fact that I'd done that. And being a rational person though, didn't take long for me to realize that there was no ways that I could have known anything like that, and it's not my fault. You know, so it's important that you understand that parents love their kids. You know, and I don't know a parent that would purposely allow their kid to go through something like this intentionally.
So at times I'd actually get sad that I got resurrected, for example. I was going through, like, I was backing off here and there sometimes, and like, it was very stressful for me. So for me, myself, it was also like very difficult to cope with everything, because I lost a lot of friends and a lot of teachers' respect for when they found out that I was the one who told on Rex. So I lost a lot of friends. I got very lonely, I started doing drugs, and it just made me more depressed. I got very suicidal that I even got to the point where I was on a bridge of the N1. And I was there and I just hopped out the car. I ran away, my twin brother followed me. And he followed me around and basically tried to look after me and running. I ran. And he tried to keep up with me all the time. He's a professional athlete, actually, long distance runner. But he actually got to the point when I was over the bridge, he was actually in tears. He was shouting and saying, "Please don't." And I said, "You come any closer, I'm just gonna jump." And he sat on the floor shouting and screaming and said, "Please don't." And the only thing that ever kept me from killing myself was my family. I've got 3 tattoos, and all of them are about family. They all have a meaning of family, no other meaning. So for me, the only thing that ever kept me alive was my family, by far.
Let's learn from one another. Let's go.
Jason, Dad, thank you so much for inviting us into your home and sharing with us this mind-shocking story. And from what I'm understanding is that now you have to pick up the pieces and put them together and start to build what I can call a new norm, which is both of you as a family, a journey to recovery. So make us understand what has been the impact to yourself, having experienced this and having lived this trauma, and the family in general. So I'll start with you.
Personally, I felt that everything was built up strongly. So from the beginning, it was very tough. But I think as a total, our family has grown a lot, and definitely a lot of students as well. A lot of teachers have learned what to do, and honestly, started off really hard, but everyone's getting better. And at the moment, I'm taking step by step, as you're saying, building the puzzles. Here and there, it's a bit difficult, but definitely pushing hard. But our family's definitely been through a lot, and I'll do everything I can to keep them strong.
And what are some of the interventions that you're currently engaged in as you as an individual and as a family? Are you in family therapy, or are you going through individual therapy?
We were all doing therapy of some sort. Well, when I say all, my wife, myself, and Jason. The other boys didn't undergo any sort of therapy. Jason also spent some time in a psychiatric hospital where he was under constant therapy and had a lot of medication. We're trying to get him off all of that and trying to get him self-reliant. I'm the only one that's still doing therapy, because I'm trying to deal with a lot of issues that have arisen from that. It's certainly seeing Colin Rex go into jail and paying for what he's done has played a big role in the recovery process. Knowing that there's vindication for everything, and that the criticism and the negativity around it disappeared when there was that sentence, and it helped a lot with what had happened and what Jason was feeling, and certainly what we were going through.
So how do we pierce through? And I'm asking this for you, Jason, as an individual, also from the family's perspective as a supporting structure. And I'm also saying this with an awareness that it cannot be an easy thing. How do you pierce through? How do you create that high level of awareness in order for you to identify, and this is purely for the viewers, in order for you to identify that, when something doesn't feel right, when do you actually have to take a step back and say, something doesn't make sense here?
To be honest, the way I started everything was first I tried to get advice from someone else, and my honest opinion was my father. And the more you speak out about things that you feel uncomfortable about, it actually builds your character. So the more you actually build your conversations with other people, more personal stuff that you feel uncomfortable speaking about, the more you can speak about it to other people to gain your confidence, and you'll get a lot of advice. And with that advice, it might be bad, it might be good, but all it gets you is a lot of confidence for yourself. What's also incredible is when you can come out of your shell and come out about what's happening to you, is you can help other people, and you helping other people makes you feel a lot better.
And Dad, from the family structure support perspective, what can we do?
From a parent perspective, obviously it's important that you listen to your child. It's very difficult to assume what the child is going through, so it's important that you ask more questions and follow through, even if it's something that doesn't appear to be too serious. Rather be safe than sorry, and see what's really happening and address the matter. If you're not comfortable, you need to say something, because if you don't say something, the likelihood is it's only going to get worse and more difficult to come out. So the minute you're uncomfortable, do something about it, say something about it, and start off by approaching your parents, because your parents care about you.
Absolutely. I think one thing that we're learning is a code of silence. Any system institutionalize a code of silence, it is wrong. And it is worth attaining if your self-confidence and your self-worth. So at the end of the day, the beliefs the values they have to be protected at all time. If threatened by any means, then you have to break the silence. Dad, thank you so much.
Sure.
Jason, let me commend you for your bravery. And I'm a true believer that the true giants are born out of dark places. Look, as much as you might not know where to go right now, you will discover that and you'll polish that. But at the end of the day, there's a purpose for everything. And I think you might have identified your purpose. I mean, you're a fantastic teacher. Teachers are born from such places, and only a person who has been in there can be able to pull others to the light. I can't do that, but you can. So I believe that might be one of the purposes that you can, it can build on your self-worth and confidence moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Dad, thank you for your love, for your support.
Sure.
You are a true reflection and a hero, to many other parents out there who will stand behind their children regardless of whatever momentous situation or event that they are faced with. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It is not about what you get, impa it is who you are while you are getting it. Jason le ba lelapa la hae ba ithutile gore a code of speaking ke yona tsela, and hape self-worth ya hao ke tsohle bophelong ba hao. Mona ke each one teach one. Ke nna Pula Matsaung ho fihlella re kopana hape bekeng e latelang. Dula leseding.
When we went to court and stuff, I had to testify in court. So everyone got recorded in the recording studio. And I think a few matrics got put into court to face him, because he did plead guilty to 144 sexual charges. And none of them, he pled guilty to all my sexual charges that he had said. But the kids got put in recording studios. I had to face him in court. It was very stressful. But that was all about him stroking us and fighting, choking us and fighting us. And it was very stressful, but I enjoyed it, to be honest. I liked doing right things.